A worker at a big car production plant suffered an accident when installing a robot. This is actually a true story, but I left out all the gruesome details on purpose. Now, the spokesman of that company attributed this incident to human error, and that's often used as an explanation. In fact, 90% of the accident reports show that the person involved in the accident or a coworker is to be blamed. So in this video, I want to share with you a tool how to minimize human errors, and this tool is being used by professionals in high-risk jobs such as doctors, engineers, or pilots, and how exactly they do it to avoid failures and minimize risks. And you would be surprised to learn that the same tool can be applied just about anywhere in your professional life and also in your personal life. To err is human, and everyone is prone to it. Even the most intelligent people can have mishaps, and this is not only frustrating, but it can also be dangerous. We as humans have uncovered so much that our brains can't hold it all. Let's talk about some high-risk professions. If we look at doctors, engineers, or pilots, they have devoted so much time studying their craft and so much energy to gain that experience that they have, and even they are prone to making mistakes. However, these people have a tool that they use to avoid failures and minimize risks. Do you want to know what it is? Okay, it's the simple checklist. Yes, a checklist. I know it sounds too simple of a tool to be employed by the greatest minds who again spend so much time and so much energy getting the experience and being where they are right now. But a checklist is designed to make the experts better. In fact, a checklist is not just checking off a box. It can actually identify a problem before it becomes a danger, and it can also identify bottlenecks in a process. We always think that we have it all in our heads, but for recurring tasks, the brain loses focus. So what a checklist does, it actually separates the thinking process from actually performing the task. So when a person is following a checklist, he or she is staying focused on that particular task and doesn't necessarily have to think about what's next. Are you familiar with the Japanese railway system? It's probably one of the best in the world, and if you've ever taken the train in Japan, you saw how the conductor is performing this kind of ritual. This is called the pointing and calling technique, or shisakanko in Japanese. Whenever the train approaches a signal, the conductor will point to that signal and will yell out, "Signal green." Before the train departs, a staff member will point to the doors and yell out, "All clear." And when the train departs, the conductor will point to the speedometer and will call out the speed. This is nothing but a checklist. The system reduced errors by 85% and cut accidents by 30%. The same technique has been implemented by the New York subway system, and it also showed a drop by 57% in accidents, and the same checklist is now being used in aviation and in healthcare industries. In fact, if you talk about healthcare industries, I want to tell you about this book that I recently finished reading. It's called The Checklist Manifesto by Atul Gawande. Now, Dr. Gawande is a surgeon, and he has been asked to look into a way to minimize the errors and incidents into the healthcare industry and especially into surgeries. So Dr. Gawande looked at pilots, he looked at architects and other high-risk jobs, and he discovered that everybody is using a checklist. So he started implementing this checklist in the healthcare industry as well, not just in the United States, but also all over the world. And the results are astonishing. In his book, he talks about real stories, how this checklist was implemented, why there was a need for it, and what results it had. If you're interested in purchasing the book, there's a link in the description below, but here is a clip from the author himself talking about the importance and the impact of a checklist.
We looked at skyscraper construction, we looked at the aviation world, and we found that they have technology, they have training, and then they have one other thing, they have checklists. I did not expect to be spending a significant part of my time as a Harvard surgeon worrying about checklists. You need to focus on the killer items. An aviation checklist like this one for a single-engine plane isn't a recipe for how to fly a plane. It's a reminder of the key things that get forgotten or missed if they're not checked. So we did this. We created a 19-item, 2-minute checklist for surgical teams. We implemented this checklist in 8 hospitals around the world, deliberately in places from rural Tanzania to the University of Washington in Seattle. We found that after they adopted it, the complication rates fell 35%. It fell in every hospital it went into. The death rates fell 47%. This was bigger than a drug.
This book served as an inspiration for me to reevaluate my processes, and it also inspired me to make this video and share this information with you. I pretty much have a checklist for almost everything in what I'm doing, my activities at work, some recurring tasks that I have to do. I also have a checklist for going to the gym. I also have a checklist for going to the supermarket or any other new projects that I want to try, and I really like the system. And for all my checklists, I use Google Keep. I like it because it's very simple to use, it works great across all devices, and I can easily share that with my husband so that we both follow the same process. This system has helped us tremendously. In Google Keep, you can easily find the boxes that were checked off and make them active again so you don't have to rewrite the whole list. You might have a grocery list as well. We certainly had one, and we realized that it was flawed. This is what it looked like. As you can see, it has a list of the foods that we typically buy or something that we have bought before. So my husband and I would go to the store, we would take a look at this list, and we would decide right there on the spot what to buy. We often ended up buying food that we didn't need, or quite the opposite, we would forget to buy something important that we needed in the house. Another problem that we had with that is that the food got bad pretty fast because we hadn't really thought about a way to use that. So clearly the system was flawed, and after reading the checklist manifesto, we realized that we shouldn't be focusing on the list of items per se, but rather focus on the process. And that's what it looks like right now. Before we go grocery shopping, we first of all take a look at the food that we have in the fridge and the pantry. We discard all the expired items, which by the way, we don't have any expired items now thanks to this new system. We also create a weekly menu of the things that we want to eat that week, and we only add to the list the missing ingredients that we need for that menu. We also have a meal or a snack, and that has been proven to be such a great idea because when you are not hungry, you don't do a lot of impulse buying. And then afterwards, we prepare the canvas bags. We get together all the plastic bags that we need to recycle at the store, and then we're ready to go grocery shopping. This new system not only helped us save 30% on groceries, but it also forces us to be more organized and to plan our meals better. But really, the checklist system can be applied just about anywhere. Let's take a look at a few examples. Let's say you want to build your network. You can have a process for that. Or you have some office work, and depending on your job, the list can look like this. So let's take a look at a real example together. Let's say you work in customer service. You are responsible for answering the phones and solving customers' problems. And you will see in the checklist that I have not included picking up the phone because that's clear, that's a given. The real process starts once you've picked up the phone, and this is what all the employees and everybody involved in this process should pay attention to. And that's what it looks like. You introduce yourself and the company you work for. Don't answer with just hello. You confirm the customer's phone number. You understand the reason for calling. Identify the next step, whether it's setting an appointment or scheduling a call back or following up with the client. You send a confirmation text to the client, update the CRM system, update the calendar, and then follow up with the client to make sure that this problem has been taken care of. So the idea of a checklist is to make sure that you see the whole picture. If one of these steps is missing, the picture is incomplete. So that's why it's a great tool for the companies, because it's all about being systematic, consistent, and keeping teams on the same page. The checklist is a great tool, but it's not a solution for every problem. When it's applicable, however, I like to use it because I like to streamline my process. This video, by the way, fun fact, was created using a checklist. Everything that you see, everything that you hear had to go through a list. From the thumbnail, from the visuals, the idea, the research, how I deliver my message in a comprehensive way, I hope, and in a fun way. All of that had to go through a checklist. So I like this process and I'm going to continue using that. I will observe my process. It's not perfect yet. There are a lot of areas for improvement, but I will keep observing the process. I will fine-tune it and then I will repeat it. So I want to challenge you to do the same. Identify one of the processes that maybe you currently have and take a look at it. Fine-tune the process and repeat once, and it just goes in a circle, right? You observe it, you fine-tune it, you repeat it. And then again, you observe it, you fine-tune it, and you repeat it. And I would be curious to see what results it brings. I really like using checklists in my life, in my personal life, in my professional life, and I think you will find it just as useful. That's all I had for today. I can't wait to see you guys next week and talk about our next topic. I already have an idea and I'm really passionate about this, so I hope you like it as well. I'll see you soon.